I don't look at it so much from an ROI perspective. I generally don't do that. However, and this isn't specific to a retention strategy, I think of this as more the right thing to do, the right way to treat employees, and not just for retaining people, but because you want your employees to feel like you care. My title is Vice President of Client Services, but I'll tell you, it means nothing inside this building. Around here, I'm John. To some, I'm John P, because we have more than a few Johns here. I sit right in the middle of support. I read through every single action on every support issue, if you could believe that. Sometimes it's on a Sunday morning while I'm having a cup of coffee or my third cup of coffee to read through them. We do support surveys. We get a pretty good response rate. We get about a 20% response rate, which I'm happy with. We don't spam customers with surveys, but anytime an issue is closed, we'll send that person, the customer that is, a survey, but only once a month. And we ask 3 questions. Were you satisfied? Do you consider the issue resolved? And were you happy with the overall performance of the company? And we ask for ratings too sometimes. But skipping through that, the comments are actually more valuable than the ratings. The ratings tend to be 9.7, 9.8 on a scale of 1 to 10. But the comments are fantastic. Like, give Aaron a raise, or somebody's stuck with me until 9 o'clock last night and I'm really grateful. And I write a note for every single comment. I add my own comment. Sometimes we made a mistake. I don't care if we're perfect. I want us to be excellent. There's an important difference between perfection and excellence. So if we've made a mistake, let's learn from it and move on. But I send back comments to that individual person in support about what I think about the survey comment and how they performed. And I think that's the right thing to do. Does it help with retention? I don't know. It's just an example of treating people, not like, I use the word employees, but we think of people here as members of our family. We're back to where we were in terms of retention approaches, retention principles, which is the culture of the company, be respectful, do the right thing for the customer, excellence in everything we do, give people the time and opportunity to learn, create an environment in which they can be successful. Managers here aren't managing tasks, they're leading. So as a leader, what are the problems your staff are experiencing? What are you doing about it? As a leader, you have to anticipate what's going to come up. What are the challenges going to be next year compared to this year? So a lot of the things that we've used for the entire history of the company, we're back to really leveraging those to drive retention. But it feels like people want to stay. It feels like people are enjoying what they do. It feels like they feel like they're part of a company that really cares. If I start back pre-COVID and quickly summarize it, for software companies, which we are, there have been cycles where there are a lot of talented people in the market looking for jobs. And then there have been moments where it's highly competitive. As some of the dot-coms were coming out in the 90s, it was really hard to hire QD engineers, really hard to find them. More recently, network engineers are in demand. We've always had ups and downs in terms of competitiveness to hire people. And retention for us was always pretty consistent at 6% per year for the last 10 years prior to COVID. For my area for product support, it was about 4%. So for a software company, that's dandy because market analysts, you can talk to Forrester, Gartner, and others, and the range of turnover for other software companies tends to be 18 to 30% pre-COVID, depending which analysts you talk to and which sector, which location. It can vary for lots of reasons. But we felt great with the low level of turnover we had. And of course, that includes people who retire out, people who move to another place, people who go back to school, a few terminations. But 6% is pretty good when it's all in. Then COVID hits. We all go work from home. We all find a way to make it work pretty effectively. So thank God for Teams and the other products that have helped us get through it. We never actually closed our office. People were allowed to come in with safeguards, of course, but most people didn't for a long time. And as we came back to the office and decided on how we were going to do that, we learned a lot of lessons, quite frankly, because understanding employee needs, but also understanding the employees' feelings about the topic, about whether or not they want to come back, how they want to come back, it was all over the map. And we thought we were listening and really tuned in. And I'll just summarize that we could have done a better job of listening. And people made decisions regardless of whether we were listening or not. I had one of my best support people during COVID. He went up to Vermont. He had a cabin. He just said, "John, I'm not coming back." And I said, "Well, I understand. I'm not sure what he did after he left, but we had people who made decisions like that too. And other people just said, you know what? I'm retiring. I'm not coming back." So the range of issues was really broad, complicated, they're very diverse, and it took us a while to truly understand what the issues were and to make decisions based on suggestions from employees. And we made a huge effort to get as much employee input as we could. Somebody just out of college, we talked about coming back to the office and asked for input. And he said, "I'm 23 years old. I have no friends. I live in an apartment. I'd rather be in the office." Every company has gone through this type of process, and we came through it successfully ultimately. And we're in a hybrid model now with an anchor day. And we have some variations in different countries, but it's almost all hybrid, 3 days in the office and an anchor day. And that seems to be working really well at the moment. Our CEO signs off on all new hires and all transfers. Can you imagine that? For a company our size, that's how important people are to Terry, our CEO. And I think that's awesome. And every now and then we'll want to hire somebody and he'll see something that we didn't. So having the opportunity to learn about how to do a better job at hiring top talent is also great. Treat people like people, give them respect and opportunity in every way. I think that leads to great retention. And that's what we've had.